Yes, Captain.
I think we've got something, sir.
We're going to tell you about the official General Veers action figure. Now, hold up. This is not a General Veers action figure. It's just a random AT-AT commander. See, doesn't look like General Veers, and according to the package, it's not General Veers. It's an AT-AT commander. A lot of people will call him General Veers because in the film, the only AT-AT commander that we really see or have screen time is General Veers. But kids didn't even know General Veers was. Hold on now, before you start typing. I know you as a kid, you knew General Veers, and when you played AT-AT Commander, you played him as General Veers. But most Star Wars kids just knew him as some Imperial dude. They didn't know him as General Veers. Again, I'm sure you did, and I'm sure when you played Star Wars, you made sure you, your friends, and your neighbors called him General Veers, but we're talking about most of the Star Wars kid, not you. Why did they call him General Veers on the package? Well, maybe it's so kids would want to buy more than one of them to build a commander army. Makes sense. Who knows the reason, and who really cares? Mostly, they probably just didn't think kids cared, so they just called him AT-AT Commander. But so Kenner never officially made a General Veers action figure. Hold on now, before you can start going to the comments and typing. When I say Kenner never did something, or they never made a figure of this or that, I'm talking vintage Kenner line 1978 to 1985. I'm not talking the 90s, the Neo generation, the new stuff. And I don't care how young you were when you played with the 90s Star Wars or how old the 90s Star Wars toys are, they're not vintage. They're 90s toys, 2000 stuff. None of that is vintage. I know if I don't point it out, someone in the comments below will say, but Junkman, they made a General Veers. But my Gammy bought me one back in 1998. So again, they never made an official General Veers action figure in the vintage Kenner line 1978 to 1985. This is as close as we got. Kinda. Unless you lived in the Great North, Canada country. If you lived in Canada and you ordered from a Canadian Sears wish book, you could have an official General Veers action figure. So what is a wish book? I've talked about it many times, I'm sure you know. It's a fancy word for a catalog. Back before Amazon and the internet and all this other stuff, families would get a big, thick catalog book from Sears, JCPenney, Surf Merchandise, all kinds of places where they would order mostly for their Christmas. That's why they call it a wish book, because it was stuff you wish for. And kids would always circle what they wanted and everything else. It was an exciting time. It would usually, if I remember correct, come to your house around September, maybe October. And you would start circling stuff and showing everybody what toys you wanted for Christmas. Every toy you could think of was in this book. And you ordered it through the catalog, and it comes shipped to the house. And if you were Canadian and looked in the Sears catalog between 1981 and 1982, you would have saw the exclusive Sears only General Veers action figure. That's right, it's listed right there on the page. Sears only General Veers. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, Junkman, that doesn't make him an official General Veers action figure. It was probably some Sears Canadian wish book author that just made up the name or didn't know what to call him, so they called him General Veers because they just saw the movie. If that was the case, I would give it to you and say, it's not General Veers, it's just some kind of misprint. And you're going to tell me that it really didn't matter because if you order from the Sears Canadian wish book, they would come in a little box, maybe in a Kenner baggie with no official nameplate. So it was just an AT-AT commander and an ad said General Veers. Again, if that's the case, I would give it to you. And for many years, a lot of us, that's what we thought. But the figures you did buy from the Canadian wish book did come on cards. They came inside of a thin cardboard mailer and inside action figures on a Star Wars card. An Empire Strikes Back card at that. Now, maybe I shouldn't have said on card. It was more like attached to a card. The figures were shrink wrapped onto an Empire Strikes Back card. And the card itself was kind of like a bootleg card. It had the Empire Strikes Back logo, but it didn't have a photo of the character. And the back of the card was even worse. It was just cardboard, not even black. Just plain, brown, ugly cardboard. And a figure shrink wrapped right on the card. But one thing they did have, a nameplate. That's right, Lobot, Luke, Dengar, all of them had a nameplate so you would know what figure you got in the mail. And what nameplate was on this action figure? You guessed it, General Veers. As promised from the Canadian Sears wish book, you have a General Veers action figure on an official Star Wars Kenner vintage card with a nameplate that says General Veers. So you have a General Veers action figure. How can you say it's not? Well, technically it is an AT-AT Commander action figure, but if you were a kid from Sears ordering from the Sears Canadian Wish Book, it says it was a General Veers figure. The package said it was a General Veers figure, so it was a General Veers figure. Some of these even jump ship to the Return of the Jedi card, although it looks more like some intern just slapped a Return of the Jedi sticker on the package over the Empire Strikes Back logo, but they did slap a sticker on the back for a free Akbar offer. But is it an official General Veers? Well, I guess technically you can find some loophole to say, yeah, Kenner did release a General Veers, but I'm not even sure if Kenner was the one designing these cards. It looks like maybe Kenner just sent over some card backs they had and somebody at Sears shrink back wrapped people on it and put names on it themselves. Not really sure. But I always thought this was a very interesting story that a lot of people don't know about. Now, how much is the General Veers action figure worth today? Well, if it's loose, not on a shrink wrap card, it's worth whatever this guy's worth because it's an AT-AT Commander. It's the same figure. No doubt about it. So, if it's loose, you're just going to pay the normal AT-AT Commander price. How about one shrink wrapped on the Sears Canadian Wish Book card? Well, that's a little hard to tell you, as these are extremely rare, and the Return of the Jedi one's even rarer, and all the ones that I've seen are in collectors' hands. I can't remember a time when any of these came up for auction, so there's really no going price for it. It's one of those items that is so rare you can't really get a going rate for it, like you can a blue snaggletooth or loose Boba Fett or a yak face or something. So if it ever comes up in auction, I hate to say it, it's whatever someone's going to pay for it. I hate hearing that, but when it comes to something rare like this, it's really hard to price it. But I would be shocked if it sold for under $1,000. But that's it. That's a look at the official General Veers Canadian Wish Book action figure. Comment below what you think. Did you live in Sears? If so, did you have a General Veers action figure? Do you think that they should have named them all General Veers? Or do you not really care? Let me know in the comments below. We'll be back with another video very soon. And until the next time, this is Audrey Lee with Kids Beat.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.